It's a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time, like, this is, if he's going to prove himself to the people about his return, then if anyone, it's going to be against MeomaikA, if anyone, right? MeomaikA being, I would say, the best player in Southeast Asia. I don't want to say like OCE and C, because of course there is Seether, there is Probe as well. But when it comes to Southeast Asia, like MeomaikA, like, he is basically the king of that region. Nowadays,
let's
anyway.
go Joey.
Yeah. If you include Hong Kong, then I would definitely say go Joey. And obviously, talking about the end of 2019, I would have put Demi up there for contention, but fortunately, you know, he's been busy with Dota. yeah.
All right, we're getting in on this.
Indeed, we are. Game number 1 will be on Nightshade, and oh boy, is MeomaikA going to go full MeomaikA? Do you think? Does he?
Definitely against a returning player. Yes, absolutely.
Oh boy.
And speaking of returning players, here we are, Light coming in spawning in the top left-hand corner map, all the way in the top left-hand corner of the map. The map being Nightshade, otherwise known as Melanon. Ellie, of course, standing for. We have in the red corner, we're going to be representing Team Bear Me, all the way from the land of Australia. However, currently teamless. So, you know, team owners, Cosmos, you know, got somebody here. Although I don't think he's going to be returning to that particular lifestyle, but he might. We have, get your butts out, because we have HuT. Maybe 1 second.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player currently representing his new team, Cosmos Esports. It is the big cat himself, MeomaikA. And if you're a little bit confused as to what Yaku said, and maybe if you're a newer player to the oceanic scene and the Southeast Asian scene as well, HuT, he's kind of been around for a long time. And there are a lot of memes, a lot of copy pastas surrounding him. So yeah, especially if you've only been watching. A lot of hashtags. Yeah, there's a lot of hype around this guy. And I'm just excited to see how he performs against, you know, we saw him against like a cheesy Protoss, which is fine, but now this is the real, like, test of strength.
Indeed it is, and for the time being, as we always say, like, every time we expect MeomaikA to play cheesy, he plays a bit more standard, and every time okay, never mind.
Yep, I was gonna say that.
That's a fast Roach Warren.
Yeah, so he didn't go for a hatch gas pool. He went for an earlier pool, which I thought was interesting to say the least. And here we see why. He is getting a pretty fast Roach Warren. He is still getting link speed though, which is interesting. To me, it says that he's gonna make 3 Ravagers and then just link flood. So we'll see if
only 3.
Yeah, 3 Ravagers, maybe 4. The Roach Warren is typically for Ravagers, and then you just link flood. Like, that's why he's still getting link speed. Well, yeah, HuT needs to scout this. He needs to scout. He needs to scout as best he can. Oh boy.
Well, the Reaper is gonna be going in there now. HuT definitely needs to. It's a bit of a concern right now, because as we did mention, HuT is a bit of a returning player. He needs to know about that. He should send the Reaper directly in just to see what kind of tech there will be. The links do mention get in. That Reaper does scout the Roach Warren.
That he does. He does spot the roaches as well. He needs to set up defensively. I do like that he went for a 1-1-1. If you go for, like, if your plan was to go for BCs, then you'd be dead. It takes too long for a BC to come out. But if he goes for a Banshee, which I think he will be, then a Banshee may be out in time to defend this towards the end. And then we have a Banshee on the way. He needs as many units as he can, as we do have the roaches coming across the map. We have Lynx flooding across the map. They haven't morphed into Ravagers quite yet, so he does have a little bit of time, but This is gonna be a rough hold.
It definitely will be. These Hellions, I was a little bit skeptical on them, but I think HuT has just about identified what he's up against, and it's not going to be something too roach heavy. You absolutely want the Hellions to aid you versus the Lings.
Yes.
The Torches are going to posture around, just trying to see what damage they can get done. But this Banshee is about to pit light. This Banshee is about to hit, and I'm not convinced that they're going to find any.
Yeah, with this Banshee coming out, HuT should be completely fine. He should be able to push this away. Does have to be careful though, because the Lings are getting into the mineral line. He has to make sure that he's able to save as many workers as he can.
And here we are. The Banshee is trying to zone out away the roaches, but they do try to go in. Don't really want to go directly into 6 Hellions though if you're a single roach.
Yeah.
Now HuT has held. He's managed to deflect the Lings that are coming out. And MeomaikA could be going back, getting his 3rd, and trying for round 2.
Yeah, he is throwing down his 3rd base. He's droning up behind this as well. So nicely done by MeomaikA. He's setting up his spores since there is a Banshee. So he is transitioning out of this, but I will definitely give the edge to HuT right now, as that Roach Ling, almost all in, did no damage at all. He killed 4 SCVs.
Which, again, if you're on 2 bases, that's 2 minutes to replenish.
Yeah. So we do have these Hellions looking to be a bit aggressive here. And I'm curious to see how MeomaikA goes from here, because he went for this early builds and it didn't really accomplish much.
But we do see his response. That is not particularly what I was expecting from MeomaikA. We do see the Hydralisk then coming out, but he did take the more aggressive 3rd base, so I'm guessing that he does want to have a sort of potent push out and a very potent timing coming out fairly soon.
So you should be getting some deja vu, especially as I'm going to start talking about what MeomaikA is doing. We've seen him do this here in this tournament series before. He's going for Hydra Ling, no Banelings. Oh boy.
Yes, in fact, he did just last week. It didn't. Yeah, it really didn't work out last time, and it is definitely a timing that you want to hit before the Terran player can really get a lot of their production going, get a lot of their factory units out, because you will have no Banelings with this build.
Yeah.
You need to do damage. It cannot sustain.
Yeah, and to be fair, so far, like, the bio army isn't that big, and that's the scary thing, right? Like, at a certain point, like, there's just so much bio that the Terran player can trade so efficiently against the Ling Hydra. But right now, HuT, he is still trying to work his way up to that point. He's still working on his upgrades. He does have stim, but we'll see if MeomaikA can hit this timing, as he is working on the Hydra upgrades and already making Hydras. Well,
Nightshade is, it's a fairly straightforward rush distance here. So it is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
But you will have to wonder, where is he gonna push from?
Yeah, and MeomaikA, he's getting a 4th base. Part of me thinks that it's only there for larva, just for show. HuT, he is, he does spot it with his Banshee, and we'll see how MeomaikA deals with this, if he continues to drone up, or if he just... Yeah. Oh boy, this Raven is dealing a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised. Auto turrets, you typically see them do well versus mechanical units instead of biological units like these drones, but they do still have quite a bit of DPS on them regardless.
Yeah, and here we go. We have a large number of Hydras already, and Lings as well. So far, yeah, HuT, he is attempting to get his 3rd. I feel like it may be denied. I don't see any tanks with this
army. There's some pretty good tank positioning. Okay, there they are up north.
Yeah,
and they are all on the high ground. This is actually a really good position for HuT. And I'm not too convinced that MeomaikA will get much done here. Might try to get a lift on that 3rd base, but all of the Lings are already gone. There's some friendly fire here from the tanks.
There we go.
Now the Marines are just turning. Yeah, now the Marines are just sort of turning these Hydras into putty.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing this happen 2 weeks in a row makes you question the validity of this build, because we've seen MeomaikA do it, and I've seen it work, but it feels like you need to be in such a niche situation for it to work.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that MeomaikA has got a lot of success with this in practice games and in ladder.
Yeah.
But this is a whole different beast, and MeomaikA has not quite realized that. But one thing that he's doing better than last week, like, he's transitioning out of this. He's not being super stubborn. He's not trying to end the game in this one push.
Yeah. What I will say though is that was a very expensive push. He lost so many Hydras. Like that was insane. The amount of value that HuT got in that engagement, and we'll see if HuT is able to maintain his lead right now. He is going for a couple of drops. We'll see how MeomaikA's defense is, as because of the way this game has turned out, because it was kind of this like all in after all in, the creep spread just isn't there.
It really isn't. Now HuT, he's trying to get whatever he can get done here. MeomaikA having a bit of a mobile defense force, but it does come back to the fact that there is a lot of creep.
Yeah, and again, still no Baneling Nest, just pure Ling Hydra. He does have an Infestation Pit, so we'll see if he ends up going for Hive or maybe Infestors. Maybe that could complement the army, but in fact, I think that's what he did last time. Didn't he go Ling Hydra Infestor? Wasn't that a thing?
It was. He was trying to. Yeah. He knew he was lacking in AOE, but he really didn't want to make many Banelings.
Yeah.
So he tried to get the Infestors, but as we all know, Infestors work a lot better with Banelings than without.
Yeah, I mean they did help, but it just wasn't enough last week anyway. And we're referring to his series against Seether in the finals. Here we have him against HuT, and so far HuT, he's playing this really well. You know, I do love that he's going for these drops as well, kind of abusing the fact that MeomaikA, he has very limited creep spread right now.
That he does. Drops are starting to come in, but yeah, I'm just not convinced MeomaikA is gonna have enough to hold this. His attention is really getting stretched here. And it's not looking too good. This is a really good spread out here for HuT. He's even free-splitting, anticipating the Banelings, but he now has realized he doesn't really need to. MeomaikA now moving up this ramp, trying to isolate the tanks, but this is a pretty good spread. MeomaikA might just have barely enough here, though, to really chase this back. HuT is actually losing a lot, underestimating how much DPS Zerglings on its own can do when it gets surface area. But now this drop is still doing a little bit of damage, not too much.
Yeah, this style is very much so kind of a brute force style where you just come in with your Lings and Hydras and you try and just out DPS your opponent. And I do think that HuT, he did underestimate the Lings a little bit there. I do think he could have probably kited back into the tanks to help in that engagement, but instead he just thought, all right, you know what, I'm just going to trade against this. I'll be fine. There's no Banelings. MeomaikA was just able to win that engagement, but again, every single time he does this, like it's so expensive. Like he loses so many Hydras every time.
That he does. It's really rare that you see in a ZVT where throwing away the armies benefits the Terran player, but again, when you're doing pure Ling Hydra, it's not the most cost efficient
but these tanks, they get caught up things. And defensively, his army's out of position.
So out of position. The Lings are getting such a good surface area now, but this is the only army that MeomaikA has right now. If HuT turns around, he should be able to defend against that, but he's still going for it. This might just be a base trait that we're seeing here, Light.
Yeah, he's dropping the natural right now, and he's killing everything at the natural, and it looks like MeomaikA's going to be the one who turns around.
And this is something I'm definitely a little bit worried about here, Light. In this scenario, it's definitely who turns around first, but MeomaikA was able to put in quite a bit of damage. So we'll see. He is missing his... getting that Carapace Knight is very good. Also taking out the natural base.
Definitely. He also killed the northern fourth base as well a little bit earlier. So, you know, both players kind of taking some heavy losses. Oh, the Hydras get caught out!
GG HuT. Coming out here from his... coming back from retirement and going to be able to put in a really impressive showing here against our ESL champion.
Yeah, GG HuT coming out of retirement, showing that he still has it to play with the younger players. In a sense, question mark. It's kind of weird, you know. You have a retired player coming back.
The same age.
You know what? He's like Tasia right now. That's who HuT is to the scene. He's literally Tasia. Very
much so. I thought that was Seether.
See, he didn't leave though. Seether was like Polt, I guess. Like
Polt did leave.
He did leave, he came back, and now he's just playing nothing but TFT. That's what Polt's doing right now.
Okay, yep. That would make him, that would make Seether more of the Polt.
Oh boy. But yeah, GG, well played HuT with solid defense, being able to read his opponent and have exactly what he needed. There were obviously moments where MeomaikA was able to catch some really good engagements, some really good opportunities, but every single time he was just trading so inefficiently. And yeah, in a way, it feels like maybe if HuT wasn't too familiar with these builds, then maybe he would have been caught off guard. But despite that, despite being away from the scene for so long, like he was looking pretty solid. Like he was able to read his opponent well, I guess is what I'm saying. Even though he's been away for so long.
Well, I feel like a lot of that game did come down to reactions, but
yeah,
it's still impressive nonetheless.
That's what I mean. Like he reacted well. Like, yeah. Even though, I would assume that he would be a little bit out of meta right now. Not really.
Well, it doesn't matter. This isn't the meta.
True. That's very true. That's very true. Maybe if MeomaikA played straight up, then the HuT would be like more in the dark. But yeah, it's a fair point.
Interesting point coming out here. And speaking of puns, here we are coming in to the bottom right-hand corner of the map. No, left-hand corner of the map, all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, which is going to be Everdream LE. I don't remember what I was going to go for there. We have in the bottom left-hand corner, he is going to be the Red Terran, coming all the way down from the land of Down Under. He is going to be representing Bear Me here, but currently tasteless. No, tasteless? Teamless is what I meant. Look, I do not have the brain cell with me, apparently. We have HuT.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player currently representing Cosmos Esports. Going for a pool first, it is MeomaikA.
I appreciate MeomaikA reciprocating my short circuit by deciding, you know what? I'll give you some action in the early game. I'll give you guys something to talk about.
Yeah, we'll see. This is looking kind of similar to his opener in game number 1. We'll see if he does the same thing, where he ends up throwing down a pretty early Roach Warren, or not. I mean, this is like a closer rush distance map, to be fair.
It very much so is, and MeomaikA is definitely one of the players where if he gets the opportunity to, he'll send in as many lanes as he can in the early game, just to see what he can get done. And if he sees the slightest opening, just hold down that C button. All you will need.
I like Seether saying, "I'm not pumped. I'm Innovation. Innovation played League of Legends for like a year." I mean, I feel like Innovation still laddered StarCraft there, right?
I actually remember that interview by heart. He said he practiced, but half-heartedly.
Feels bad, man.
I do appreciate Seether's sense of humor there.
Who's Demi? Who's the guy who's the Korean who plays nothing but Dota?
True. No, True plays League of Legends.
No, yeah, True. No, he would be True because True played nothing but League of Legends. Oh god. True, please. Well. All right. So speaking about the game,
it's not gonna be that link plot that we thought that MeomaikA would go for. He is just, I guess, just going for a defensive pool first, which wouldn't surprise me too much, to be honest. HuT, before his retirement, did have a bit of a reputation. He was one of the few people back in 2017 and 2018 who still enjoyed going for proxy tanks.
Yeah. I think I want to say, which tournament was it? There was a tournament in Melbourne where that's like what he did. Or
that
he
was
famously did. I should.
No,
say.
that was Sydney, not Melbourne.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No. It was one
Sydney?
of those things.
I can't
It
quite
might have been
remember.
Sydney.
I was thinking about one of Probe's lands, but it could have been Sydney. Yeah. It's been quite some time. For those who don't know, HuT, he actually ran his own LAN as well in Sydney. Actually, it was the Sydney Stim Pack, and I went to that. Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Barely.
It was streamed, but yeah, it was very niche. It felt like. Either way, these things are finding a surprising amount of damage, but the Hellions, they dive in.
But does it really matter though? This is such a good run of the links on top of the Hellions. Not going to be able to utilize these choke points, HuT won't, and not a single drone has gone down. But at the very least, HuT did manage to get that scout off and see that it's just going to be a very quick lair, so potentially Aspire. A lot of things are going through HuT's mind right now. I can tell you. A lot of things to deduce.
Yeah, I think he only got 2 worker kills, bearing in mind that we don't have game heart, so we do have to check the workers lost.
He's doing it again.
Oh,
Meo, please.
Oh boy.
Well, you know, shorter rush distance, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it might work out, but we did see last week it didn't really work out on this map in particular.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he has a higher success rate on a map like Everdream, and we don't know if he's doing the same thing. Like he is throwing down a Hydra Den.
I don't know about that. Like that screw spines coming out from MeomaikA.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, maybe if it's a lurker rush, that might catch HuT off guard. You know, something a little bit different here, but nope.
Maybe. I mean, this should hit harder than game number 1 because game number 1 he invested so much in those early roaches and those early lings that didn't really accomplish much. So this should do better. I say should though because either way, we'll see if this Raven is going to coincidentally scout the Hydra Den.
Well, I'm not too convinced it will, although in saying that, I do see a little bit of a red speck there on the minimap.
He's spotted the Hydra Den. Yep. So he knows. HuT knows.
Then. But it's a much quicker infestation pit this game rather than the previous game. Now, again, it might just come down to the dedication on the roaches, but I have a feeling that MeomaikA is actually going to make use of it this game.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Last game, the infestation pit went down and nothing was done with it at all. So I imagine he's going to go for infestors a lot earlier this game and utilize them more. We'll see if HuT lets him, though, as he is being pretty active with these Hellions. And again, the creep spread just isn't there for MeomaikA.
It very much isn't, and we can see just how useful that is here for HuT to utilize. All Raidlings are going to be taken out, and when it's just Hydras, they don't really last long versus Marine Tank.
Yeah, no, they don't. And again, because, as we were saying, because of the lack of creep spread, it's so much more difficult to defend against things like Hellions. And we saw how much value HuT just got. I don't think he lost a single Hellion there when he was able to kill so many Lings. We'll finally lose a couple here. And HuT, he's being so persistent with these Ravens. Oh my god, I like it.
I'm not sure if I like it, but I like that they're doing a lot of damage. Is what I can tell you there.
Yeah.
I like that it's being effective. I'm not sure if I like the actual harass itself, but it is keeping MeomaikA's attention quite split. It forces a lot of spores here, which is not at all what you want to do when you're going for an aggressive build like Ling Hydra.
Yeah, and spores themselves don't help too much against Ravens. And he's kind of abusing the fact that MeomaikA, there's no Spire. Like, these Ravens are perfectly safe. Like, they're going to be able to continue to do this throughout the game until something like that we have investors do finally come out.
I would really like to see MeomaikA get a Baneling Nest behind this, but it's MeomaikA, so he won't.
I'm sure everyone would love to see a Baneling Nest. It'll help MeomaikA so much. Meo, please. But instead, he is going for that Ling Hydra Infestor, relying on those fungals to get those good engagements and those surrounds. Yeah, we'll see how HuT responds to this.
Yeah, look, man, Banelings cost gas. You know what else costs gas? Hydras and Infestors. So I have to give up one of them, you know?
Yep.
I feel like that's the rationale, and it's not terrible rationale, but it's a little flawed.
It is. To be fair though, like again, there is a reason why MeomaikA is doing this. Like, it can work. Don't get me wrong, it can work. I do still think that there is like a certain point where it does fall off, and it has to hit a certain, like after a certain point, it just doesn't scale too well, and a transition will be required. I don't know if we've gotten already to that point. We'll see as MeomaikA is trying to. Oh no!
Oh,
the Infestor.
The Infestors do mention come in. There will be no pickup on these units, but all things considered, how much was really used there only for energy? Or how much was lost there for HuT? 1 medevac worth of units, and MeomaikA, he's decided to push out now, and that's a fungal that MeomaikA won't have when this push hits.
Yeah, 2 fungals even. Like his Infestors don't have energy at all for the follow-up, which is kind of what I'm worried about. He was forced to use it a little bit early, and to be fair, like this angle is actually really good. The tanks aren't sieged up in position.
No, they're not. They will have to turn around right here. Might actually just siege on this choke point if HuT isn't careful, but I should probably give HuT more credit than that. I should not underestimate him.
Yeah,
and he does turn around, and again, there are no fungals here because he used them earlier.
Yeah, and honestly, HuT can chase this down. He's going forward with his Marines. He's
Really
trading as efficiently as he can.
Yeah, real good
He kills all the
coming out
Hydras.
from here, from HuT. Did mention kill the Hydras, and once again, it's a kind of a trade. A lot of the Marines were thinned out for HuT, but it's just Marines. It's 50 minerals each, compared to Hydras, which cost significantly more.
Yeah, oh my god, again, like that was such a big loss for me. The Ravens are still alive. They're just dealing more and more damage. Oh my god. Forcing spines in the main bases as well. And here we have the push out from HuT.
Yeah, would you go so far as to say that the Ravens are the MVP this game?
Maybe. We'll have to see how many kills they have by the end.
They've kept MeomaikA back for so long, made him invest in defenses where he really didn't need to. There are a couple of fungals available on these Infestors now, so this army of HuT will have to retreat and try to get some better ground. MeomaikA does not commit to this, and it's a good thing that he didn't. There are a lot of reinforcements coming out from HuT here as he just rotates, tries to hit at MeomaikA's 4th base.
Yeah, I think it is important. It is important to note that when MeomaikA did push out, he did force the cancel from HuT for his 4th base, so his 4th base is pretty late, to be honest. And wow, he gets away!
Yeah.
Wow.
Does he though? You can do. Oh, not quite. Maybe it's 1 hit left on that Raven. We'll make it out of there alive. All right, here comes the main push out here from MeomaikA, which could very well be the final push. Yeah, really good fungals there, managing to land on just about all of the reinforcements from HuT. Their tanks are not at all in position, but HuT is going in for that Doom drop.
That he is.
And seeing a base trade, MeomaikA is going to be the first one to turn around.
Yeah, he gets this morning pool. He may be able to deny the upgrades, and
he gets the hive. And the lair on top of that.
Yeah.
This is not looking too well for our ESL champion, our Vietnamese Zerg player here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he will clean this up. And he just managed to save his upgrade as well, so that is nice, but he lost so much for that. And the aggression isn't stopping. We have he's pushing through the middle of the map.
The tanks are already here. And I'm not too sure what MeomaikA can get done here. The fungal is a very good start. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He gets another fungal on top of that, and MeomaikA will be able to get that concave and take game number 2. Proving that sometimes all you need is to look for those openings.
Yeah, GG. MeomaikA kind of starving HuT out a little bit there. He did kill the 3rd base earlier, and the 4th base hadn't even finished. So HuT, he was on 2 base economy for that last push. Struggling to get his 4th base up and running because of that. And yeah, again, we were doubting MeomaikA with this composition, with this playstyle, and it wasn't clean whatsoever. But he did make it work.
MeomaikA was definitely a lot more patient this game than the previous game or in last week. He kind of just rotated around with his army, went for these little, well, I say little when he moved out with his entire army, but he sent, a couple of links for it, just trying to see if there was an opening that he could really take advantage of, trying to see where the tanks are, they sieged, and yeah, in the end, he just found his opening, managed to get the fungals on the bio, and collapse the rest of his army on top of them.
Yeah. GG. Well played, and we're tied up. We're tied up in this best of 3. And I honestly, I'm not too sure how this is gonna go. I kind of don't want MeomaikA to do the same, to go for the same composition. I mean, he showed that it works.
Yeah, he's very sure that it works, but I don't think he will. MeomaikA's got some variety behind him. He's got quite a good amount of builds.
Are we going to see 2 base Muto?
We might. We might see that. And speaking of 2 bases, we're now here on Simulac Rum. Your heart-filled LE by the sea 2 for 3 for free. With me, buddy. If you are, you gotta hide your keys and get ready to slap your knee. Here we have in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, the Australia area, or the Australia base as we call it, because I mean, just look at the mini-map, just look at that. That's Australia. Here, representing Team Bear Me, all the way from the land down under. However, currently teamless, so you know, team owners. You know, he's a retired player. He is the Teja of Australia, if you will. You know, just hit him up, slide into them DMs. Everybody, get your butts ready. It is HuT.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player currently representing Cosmos Esports, going for the first time, going for a more standard opener. We have MeomaikA. Hey,
He's not going for the same thing again.
hey, it's a hatch gas pool. I didn't even know he could do that. It's crazy.
Well, we'll see what he throws down at the at around the 4-minute mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I do think that we may be seeing some Spire play come out from MeomaikA. We did see that last week against Seether, so we'll see. As again, he's going for this economic opener. He's getting his 3rd base as well. Pretty standard, and standard is not something that you say in the same sentence as MeomaikA.
Definitely not, especially not greedy. Bunker here being thrown down by HuT, but not a lot that's going to be loaded into that bunker.
Yeah, there will be a Reaper heading across the map, and he does have that kind of anchor point, that reinforcement point to fall back to in case things get a little bit too crazy, as there is a 2nd Reaper on the way as well. Oh boy.
Okay then, this could just be to try to deny a 3rd base, or try to reliably deny a drone from coming out from that natural to get that 3rd. But as you said, MeomaikA is playing a lot more economic this game already with that 3rd base, and yeah, I don't think MeomaikA expected to have a bunker in between his bases there.
Yeah, I mean, none of us did, and to be fair, looking at the vision of HuT, he doesn't know about that 3rd base. He so far, when it comes to his vision, he only sees the main and the natural for MeomaikA. I don't know if that comes into play. I don't know if that is leading into why he decided to do this. Maybe you're right. Maybe this was just to deny the 3rd for as long as possible, but yeah, we'll see what else he's able to accomplish with this. So far, not too much.
But he will be going around for this little scout. Once again, does see it is just going to be a spawning pool, but it is a full gas. So HuT, he's feeling pretty good right now. He's feeling like it could be pretty standard. This is a lot of lings that are out here right now.
That they are nice.
Yep.
Yeah, nice positioning there. Is able to keep his Reapers alive. I actually really like that. Nicely
yeah, that's
done.
something that you don't really see nowadays. Back in 2017, around that time, the Reaper ramps were huge, so you could keep.
Yeah.
You could even put a tank there, so a lot of Terra players would just sort of rest your Reapers there, let them get healed up. But yeah, you can still do those.
Looking at you, Odyssey. Was it Odyssey? Could you?
It was Odyssey. It was Odyssey. That was one of them.
Yeah. There you go. I was thinking the exact same thing as you were saying that. I was like, yeah. But yeah, we'll see. As HuT, he is going for this 1-1-1 opener. We did see this previously.
Been taken by MeomaikA.
Oh boy. Yep.
Some more gases have been taken. He is waiting for that lair.
Yeah, so far he does only have 3 gases. If we see a 4th, then we should be seeing a Spire shortly after. Again, he hasn't thrown down a Bailey Nest. He hasn't thrown down a Roach Warren. So this should be for Spire. It could be for Hydras again. Oh, there it is. Beautiful.
What did we tell you, Light? MeomaikA, he is not a one-trick. He knows multiple builds.
Yeah, literally more than one build. And yeah, Exactly. We do have the Banshee coming across the map. Nicely done. There is detection here, ready and waiting for them though. So MeomaikA shouldn't take too much damage, but there are quite a few Hellions here with this.
Yeah, that's really going to be the deciding factor here. They do morph into Hellbats as there was an army beforehand. And this is actually really rough right now for MeomaikA. These Banelings are trying to get us around them, but the conical fire of Hellbats are pretty much designed to be anti-surround. They do manage to take a lot of these Hellbats down, to be fair.
There just wasn't enough there, but so far MeomaikA, he hasn't lost any of his drones, and he kills the Banshee as well. Nicely done. He just, with his reinforcements, he should be able to clean this up. And honestly, this was looking kind of scary, especially without Banelings.
It absolutely was, but all the Hellbats have just about been taken out. The Banshee trying to get something done, but these Spores and Queens are going to be preventing that. The Spire has completed now, Light. The Spire is now done. And MeomaikA is so decided he could just get some Mutalisks to really take those out. But he's going to wait.
Yeah, he is getting +1 flyer attack on the way, and what's important is that HuT, he still doesn't know about the Spire. He didn't get a scout of the main base, so he doesn't know the tech of choice just yet. And we'll see. Oh, never mind. I think he did scan recently, so yeah, there we go. He sees it. He knows he should be throwing down some anti-air. We do have engineering bays on the way, but they aren't done quite yet. And yeah, he has a couple Widow Mines as well, so he should be decently okay on these two bases.
MeomaikA has not. I mean, he's getting flyer upgrades, but he hasn't got any Spire.
Muta,
yeah. Well, I mean, it might not be Muta. You know, it could be some Corruptors. Could see some good old Corruptorling Bane. They work out.
This isn't dark, all right. We're not. There we go.
Very much. All right, one Muta.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot banked up. He's a little bit supply blocked, so maybe he's waiting for his Overlords to finish up. He has a lot of gas banked up. Yeah. And with these mutas, you know, he will gain map control. He should do a decent job at denying this third base at least. And yeah, like this won't be too much of a surprise. So defensively, HuT should be okay. We'll see if MeomaikA can deal any economic damage with this.
All right, well, we'll definitely, yeah, we'll definitely have to see how MeomaikA makes use of his mutas, right? He could just try to build up a good muta count, try to go in with, well, there's no Baneling Nest again, so it's just going to be Mutaling instead of Mutaling Bane.
What does MeomaikA have against Banelings? What did Banelings do to him? Like, they don't deal friendly fire. Like, he shouldn't have had like a PTSD-inducing experience with the Banelings, right? Not like a Widow Mine.
No. You say he shouldn't have a PTSD-inducing experience with Banelings, but have you forgotten MeomaikA's ZVZ?
No, you're right. You're completely right. No, yeah. Now it'll make sense.
It does. These realists are coming in. There are a lot of them, and not quite enough Marines here. They do have their hands full trying to deal with the Zerglings. And as the Marine count thins out, there is just nothing that can really contest these Mutalisks right now. Yeah, this is a pretty good sandwich of Marines, and decent split, actually a pretty good split there by MeomaikA on that Widow Mine. Should be able to take out this mineral line, as we do not have Game Heart, but that is, trust me, that was more than one SCV.
That it was, and defensively he just didn't have any missile turrets at the third base, and yeah, there were just enough Mutalisks to overwhelm the ground army, even the Marines that were there, and he loses the third.
Just gonna add insult to injury there. Oh, MeomaikA, you didn't want to go into that. Does eat a huge mine shot, but there just wasn't enough here to really clean up. HuT, he's, I wouldn't say turtling, but he's definitely playing the defensive game very, very well.
Yeah, definitely, and he does hold for now. To be fair, there aren't any Banelings, so a bust won't be happening anytime soon, but either way, MeomaikA could try and brute force his way through that natural wall. And HuT, he's looking okay for now, but he's trying to establish a third base. He's trying to push out. I don't know about this.
Nor I, but yeah, he's about to get surrounded left and right, but there's a good flank coming up here with the Marines. I'm not convinced that there's going to be enough to deal with the Mutas, though, but the account is getting thinned out. A little bit of support from the Viking. And now MeomaikA going to be chased back.
Yeah, that was an expensive loss there. He lost a lot of Mutalisks in that trade, and I was a little bit doubtful because there weren't any Widow Mines there for support, but there were just enough Marines, purely Marines, and that's kind of all you need. Um, especially when you're playing against MeomaikA with his Baneling less compositions.
Oh, it definitely is. Another thing to keep in mind was that the medevacs were still well alive there during that fight. If MeomaikA sniped those medevacs, I think it would definitely have been quite a different story there.
Yeah, definitely. Nicely done there by HuT. He was able to.
Mutalisks, but you know, would have probably taken the engagement.
Yeah, nice repairs there. He was able to save that missile turret. But MeomaikA still finding little bits of damage there. I do feel like maybe he needs a sensor tower because like Mutalisks, they're so quick to reposition themselves. So HuT, he just has to make sure he's on top of them and make sure that he has Marines in position, as it looks like he is going for a counter drop.
Indeed, he is. I do like how HuT is still kind of playing it like his opponent could have Banelings. That bunker in the mineral line, it's still useful against Zerglings, but you normally get them to prevent Bane Bust. Ooh, trying to get this drop, but MeomaikA does manage to intercept it. A very quick unload coming out here, and HuT is forced to fight this. He cannot load back up into these medevacs, otherwise they're just DED dead.
Yeah, a lot of Marines were lost in that engagement, and now he's forced back. He doesn't have his whole army here since he went for a drop at the same time. Now he's using all the tanks. Oh, God.
And MeomaikA just might have found that opening that he needed, but HuT with the, not Concave, SimCity with the choke point, there we go, will be able to completely wipe out the Zerglings. They'll be coming back in with one of these drops. In fact, actually the only drop here.
Oh, God.
Just going to be trading very, very well. Look at the...
Yeah,
the resource is different. Okay, has spent his bank.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there because the drop came back for HuT because he was afraid he couldn't hold, but he did hold without the drop, and then it finally came back at the end when it honestly it could have been across the map dealing some damage. So MeomaikA, he's a little bit lucky there.
Speaking of MeomaikA, I just looked at the production tab, and I'm not convinced that this is a real MeomaikA light.
He's doing it! He's evolving! we're seeing his brain expand! He's throwing down the Baneling nest! It's happening!
He's gotten over his fear. He knows that that's what he needs to do to evolve in this game, as well as a player. So we are definitely going to be seeing quite a different dynamic coming out here from this matchup. I'm a little bit concerned MeomaikA had the opportunity to, but has not yet gone into his late game. But at the same time, he's doing a really good job of keeping HuT back. So, might not really need to yet.
Yeah, definitely. As he does dive in with his Mutalisks, he's trying to find more damage camping or sniping a couple of add-ons here from HuT. And, oh, God, this is, again, he's just finding so much damage. But
no minds, don't mention connect just yet. The Cloud of Mutas will be able to get out of there.
I will say that the one thing that is really going for HuT are his upgrades. He's already more than halfway done with his 3-3. Meanwhile, MeomaikA still working on +2 armor of all things. So HuT will have that going for his bio army. But I'm a little bit concerned because he's very Marine heavy. And as we're seeing this Baneling transition, I would like to see a couple of Marauders mixed in. But he doesn't know that it's coming yet. He thinks he's playing against MeomaikA.
The ultimate mind games.
Right? What a madman, he's making Banelings! Oh, God.
Who makes Banelings? Like, what?
Oh, God.
But I do like, this is definitely MeomaikA absolutely playing to his advantages, or the advantages of Zerg. You know, getting into later on in the game, you can be very flexible with your tech, and you know, if you can force your opponent to play in a certain style, or that counters a certain style, and then go into the other style and counters that. And
all of them went down!
That they did. This is such a, what is it, Apocalypse of Mutalisks, but the Widow Mines. Oh, that was a good hit. So many of the Mutalisks were clumped up there, and even trying to come here with the flank will end up losing one medevac.
Yeah, and we are only a couple of seconds off of 3-3 finishing. There we go. 3-3 has finished for HuT. So his Marines are, like, at best they can be, but now he spots the Banelings.
Indeed he does. He is going to be having to move his mines back into position to fight with his main army, because you cannot really rely on splits right now when there are just this many Banelings out. And we do see one of the crashes as well as another, but HuT has more than enough to chase this back, and he is going for the counterattack, or at least he has the opportunity to. Yeah, we do see it. Like, he is trying to transition now into Marauders, as well as getting a couple more mines out. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't gotten Drilling Claws just yet, but
that was a kill. He got a kill on the 5th.
That he did. That was not what you want to have happen here. Good use of the bunker here. It wasn't really meant for the Mutalisk, but it did prove itself useful nonetheless.
Yeah, the problem right now is that after HuT won that engagement, I'm sure he wanted to counterattack, but the Mutacloud is so large that he's forced to keep his Marines at home to try and defend. Missile turrets just aren't cutting it right now. They're just too many Mutalisks that he's forced to keep his army back at home.
Neat it is. You can almost see history repeating itself a little bit here, but thankfully HuT is reinforcing with his own Marines. We'll be going for that double drop as well. These realists are starting to come in. I think just trying to find an opening here. Seeing if there's any air units that they could snipe, but not quite finding it yet.
I mean,
HuT is starting to go in. Oh, this is old school.
Wow, that double drop.
Dropping a little bit. Yeah, just dropping a little bit into that 5th base and dropping the bulk of his forces into the main. Now, all things considered, these realists will make short use of it regardless, but still, you want to be splitting the attention of your opponent as much as you can. What's important is
that he forced the Mutalisk back home, so this allows HuT some time to get his 5th up and running, to finish up his bases, to collect himself at home. At the same time, he was able to kill the Evo Chamber that was working on that upgrade, so we don't even have 2-2 for MeomaikA. He killed the Evo Chamber that was working on +2 melee.
That it did. Meanwhile, we see another multi-prong coming out here from HuT. This might be just too much for MeomaikA to deal with. There are no mines of this army. They were all sent to the drop up north, or I guess the run-by up north. And losing all of this, the vast majority of HuT's forces, that is not ideal. He is still technically up in army supply. A lot of them are in the medevac still, and they are slowly going down.
We do see the medevacs getting picked off one by one, and I don't know if that was worth it. HuT lost a lot of Marines there for a base. I don't know.
Trying to bait them into the mines, and they do manage to connect. Ooh. Not going to be cleaning out these Mutalisks just yet, but there's no detection. These mines are still here. More and more reinforcements come down here from HuT. Now a Thor joins the mix, eating another Widow Mine shot. Meo!
Oh my god, the Mutalisks are so low. I think HuT could be able to clean up all the Mutalisks. Maybe he done it.
About there we have it. And already, after coming back out of retirement, HuT already eliminates one of the 3 ESL champions. Good lord.
Wow. GG, well played, HuT. Why did you leave? If you come back after like a couple of weeks of playing, you come out strong, you take out one of, even if not the strongest player in the Southeast Asian region. You know, he's one of the few players, one of 3 players who has won one of these tournaments, and he's taken him out.
Mate. Now he only needs to do it 3 more times, as he will now qualify for the quarterfinals.